It's day one of the celebrity trial gripping much of the nation. Sean Diddy Combs, once one of entertainment's most powerful moguls, accused of crimes so heinous.
The first witness is now on the stand in the federal sex trafficking trial for Sean Diddy Combs in New York City after final jury selection and opening statements this morning.
Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony of the Sean Diddy Combs trial, as reported by Inner City Press. The courtroom was dead silent as the judge called the next witness. All eyes turned toward the back as a familiar face stepped forward, one that no one expected to see. Usher Raymond, the Grammy-winning R&B star, was about to testify not about his music, not about a label dispute, but about what really happened behind the closed doors of Sean Diddy Combs' empire for years. Usher stayed silent. He played the game, smiled through interviews, dodged questions. But now, as Diddy faces federal charges of trafficking, coercion, and a criminal enterprise of abuse, Usher has finally decided to tell the truth. And the truth, he says, has been eating him alive from what he witnessed as a 14-year-old under Diddy's care to what he later realized about the entertainment industry's darkest corners. This testimony isn't just shocking, it's historic, and it could change everything. Usher began by recounting the day his mother told him he was going to live with Diddy in New York. At the time, he was just 14 years old, fresh off his debut album and eager to rise in the ranks of the music industry. L. Reid had arranged the mentorship with the belief that being around Diddy would fast-track Usher's success. What none of them expected was the kind of world Usher would be walking into. "I thought I was going to learn how to be a star," Usher told the court, his voice steady but tight. "What I saw instead were things no teenager should be around." Usher testified that from the moment he entered Diddy's Midtown Manhattan penthouse, the environment was saturated in excess champagne on breakfast trays, strangers waking up in rooms he didn't know existed. People he later recognized from TV and magazines lounging half-dressed or passed out. It wasn't a home, it was a scene. He called it the flavor camp. Usher said, "I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was just branding. Later I realized it meant indulgence." The court listened intently as Usher described how the mentorship quickly turned into something else. Diddy wasn't teaching him about vocals or performance. Instead, Usher claimed he was encouraged to observe the lifestyle, to party with celebrities, and to stop asking questions. He told me, "This is how we do it. You don't ask, you just watch, learn by watching. That's how grown men roll." He recalled one night when he woke up around 3 a.m. to find people in masks entering the apartment. Music was playing low, and candles lit the hallway. He walked into the living room and saw what he could only describe as a ritualistic party. It wasn't just sex, there was structure to it, cameras lit, and no one looked surprised. "I thought maybe I had walked into a movie set. I remember thinking I shouldn't be seeing this." Usher said he was told to go back to bed, but he didn't sleep that night. That was the moment he said that changed how he saw Diddy forever. The next part of Usher's testimony centered around the warnings he never received. Not from his record label, not from his mother, not from industry insiders who all knew what Diddy's world really looked like. People thought Diddy was eccentric. Usher explained they didn't realize he had power over people in a way that was quiet but absolute. If he didn't like you, your career stalled. If he liked you, your silence was part of the deal. Usher told the jury that there were others like him. Young artists brought into the fold promised a fast track to fame, but slowly pulled into Diddy's orbit in ways they couldn't understand. At the time, he named no names yet, but hinted that more would come forward. "There were people around us who saw assistants, drivers, other musicians. Everybody acted like it was normal, but deep down, they knew the adults failed us." One particularly disturbing moment in his testimony came when he described a private trip to the Caribbean Diddy took him on when he was 15. It was supposed to be a retreat, just me, him, and a couple others. The place was isolated, no press, no cameras, and that's where I realized I wasn't there to learn anything about music. He paused. I won't go into everything, but what I will say is that I wasn't given a choice about the environment I was placed in, and it took me years to understand the manipulation. The courtroom was silent. Usher said that after the trip, his relationship with Diddy changed. The mogul became more controlling. There were always new people around, always more parties, always more rules, and every time Usher pushed back even slightly, he was reminded who made his career. He told me, "You don't bite the hand that feeds you, remember who gave you this life." Usher ended the segment by looking directly at Diddy. "You didn't give me this life, you gave me nightmares." Usher's third portion of testimony was perhaps the most stunning. He described being presented with a contract at the age of 16 that included a confidentiality clause, though it was under the guise of a standard non-disclosure agreement to protect Bad Boy Records' internal dealings. Usher claimed it included specific language about private events and discretion at the time. "I didn't even know what half the words meant." Usher told the court my mother had to co-sign and the label's lawyers said it was standard, but now looking back, I know what it was, a contract to keep me quiet. He said he signed it because he trusted them. That signature bought my silence for years. I wasn't allowed to speak about parties, guests, behaviors. I was told it would ruin the brand. But what about what it did to me? Usher said that clause was invoked years later when he attempted to speak out about some of the things he had seen in 2009. I was working on an interview with a major publication. The questions started getting personal. Suddenly, I got a call from Bad Boy's old legal team. They reminded me of my NDA. They said, "We hope you're not trying to jeopardize your reputation." He said he never went through with the interview, but it wasn't just lawyers. Usher claimed he received veiled threats from people still tied to Diddy's empire, people he hadn't spoken to in years. "You think you're done with that world, but it's never done with you. And if you step out of line, there are consequences not just to your career, but to your safety." The courtroom sat frozen as Usher pulled out a copy of the NDA. The judge allowed it as evidence. It included language about audio-visual documentation and unauthorized reproduction phrases that now took on a sinister tone in the light of Diddy's alleged freak-off video. Library Usher's voice cracked slightly. "That document made me feel like I was crazy for years. Like everything I saw, everything I felt wasn't real because I wasn't allowed to say it out loud." Usher's voice wavered as he described a lesser-known moment from 1996 when he was just 17 years old, and Diddy took him to an exclusive mansion party in Atlanta. It was a pivotal moment that would reshape how he viewed the man he once saw as a mentor, according to Usher. Diddy was in full party host mode, with a house filled with celebrities, models, and mysterious men who didn't seem connected to the music industry at all. Usher said he wasn't expecting what he saw next. The house was lavish marble floors, security at every door, a DJ spinning until sunrise. But what stood out wasn't the luxury. It was the secret room. Usher told the courtroom he remembered Diddy whispering to one of the security guards who opened a locked door at the back of the mansion. "You're not ready for that yet," Diddy said to him with a grin. Usher said he peeked in anyway. There were people in masks. "That's all I'll say. I didn't know what I was looking at." Then he said something that made everyone in the courtroom shift. "I think that night changed me." Usher confessed, "I saw things I still can't explain. I don't know if it was legal, but I know it wasn't right." He then held up photocopied pages from a journal. Usher explained he had started writing the journal in